right. Hey, everybody. It's Eric here. Today, we're going to talk about 5 things that you can do to save your business through this upcoming or maybe already in it recession. Real quick, this is not a video about the possibilities or all this other stuff, but I did want to show quickly a screen here of what we're looking at. And hold on. There it is. Okay, so I printed this out yesterday. So this is the S&P 500. Okay, and it gives you an idea of how far we have gone up. And granted, there's a lot of factors here. This is not an average graph or overall chart, and so it does show the extremes of the reality just in raw numbers. But you can kind of take a look here. Is this over here in the corner for those that were around in the late 1980s? That is the savings and loan bust, and it just looks tiny. And keep in mind, there's inflation and all kinds of other stuff. And the S&P 500 really kind of represents the overall business profitability, success, how things are going. Granted, the market is not the economy. Remember that. But anyway, it gives you an idea of how healthy businesses are overall and what's going on. This next one over here, you can see I've labeled it the dot-com bust, which for those that went through it, I was just entering the career marketplace at that time period, and it was like, oh, this is the worst thing ever. And you can see it was quite a bit bigger than the savings and loans bust, which was also bad for the overall economy. And then right next to it, what they're referring to as the Great Financial Crisis is also almost as big. And look at that fall, almost as big a fall as the dot-com bust. And they call it the Great Financial Crisis for a reason. I mean, it was painful. But then you've got to look at this today figure. We have gone from way down here to way the heck up here. And now you can see it's starting to fall. That is a little concerning because if you look at the previous busts and bubbles and how far we have to go to fall and what kind of correction we need here, it's a pretty big deal. And so anyway, I wanted to show that, not because that's what we're talking about today, but just the reality of, where we are, how overheated the economy is, and really what the last 5 years, maybe even longer, that's not real or normal. And most people that I know, and then most people also that may be watching this channel, have never been through this kind of downturn. It's always been up. And it's been probably one of the most easiest times ever in history to start a business and be successful. And there's going to be some pain here because a lot of people aren't prepared for this. And so, there's no guarantee that, there's going to be a major correction, but it's really looking very highly likely. And I want to talk about in this video 5 things that you can do to prepare your business to make sure that you were likely going to survive this. And I can tell you, I went through the 2008 and it was very painful, but I brought businesses through it and we had successful exits on the other side. But we lost half of our business throughout that time period. And it's likely to happen again through this economy because, again, most people aren't prepared. And this isn't part of my numbers, but I want to put out there, if you are, I'm going to go back to it because it might be able to tie it in here. So anyway, so number 5, you might want to start, depending on what you do, if you're a trade or if you deal with people and things like that, what you're going to see is a lot of professionals that have been doing, work their way up high on the ladder. A lot of companies that are only doing big jobs and, big contracts that last for months or years at a time. Those are going to start to slow down as well. And those people are going to be like, well, I need to keep doing something. So they're going to move what we call downstream. And they're going to be competing with the people with smaller businesses that are willing to do smaller jobs and, littler projects. And so now we're going to have a bunch of more people competing for the same amount of business that we probably haven't seen before. So even if you're a smaller business or if you are one of those large businesses, it's a really good time to start thinking about, okay, maybe I will take this job, this particular project or job that I wouldn't have taken 6 months ago because I'm too busy and I've got too much going on. And so look at your scheduling, look at where things are going, and maybe consider, expanding things that you wouldn't normally do. Because, hey, business is all about being, streamlined and focused and professional. That's the key. Maybe time to open your horizons a little bit and do that now. And so that's my number 5 thing is just kind of look outside of the normal things that you normally do, and open, be a little bit more open to doing those kind of tasks because other people are going to, and they're going to eat into your space, and there's going to be a lot more competition. It's not going to be like it's been where you can just boom, the phone just rings because you put up a sign. It's not normal. All right, number four, uh, you've got to get out there. Previously, up until the last couple of years, again, this has not been a normal run up. You could put up a sign, and they will come. If you build it, they will come. That's going to change because there's going to be a lot more people that have built it, and a lot less people who will come. So really, you're going to have to start creatively marketing. A lot of people have been outsourcing marketing and digital marketing, and that's expensive way to go. And you may have to bring that in house or learn some of it yourself, or at least know what those companies are doing, so you know what to ask for. So being really creative when it comes to marketing, using professionals, but yet again knowing what's going on and watching the statistics are going to be very, very important. Right now, we're seeing a lot of companies just stop marketing altogether right now, just because they're just pulling back and there's kind of a panic. The other thing is, if you're small or you have sales reps or things like that, you've got to do mixers. I know the C word, I almost said it, it has really turned off a lot of people from going to in-person events. I've been doing a lot of mixers and events lately. It's going to be important that you do that. You have to show your face. People have to know you, to trust you, to use you for business, and that's important. And a lot of people have not had to go to mixers or do hustle or do cold phone calls or do cold emails or go out to lunch with people. You're going to have to, because your competition will. And so if you want to survive, that's something you got to keep in mind. So that was number four. The number five item that I put down here, is really going to be the hustle. I know a lot of people are burned out. The economy, you've heard the Federal Reserve say it, you've heard everybody in the government say it, that the economy itself is overheating. And if you've watched my stuff or know me, I've been saying since at least 2019 that we are well over our skis in growth and overheating and just all the stuff that's going on. And we need a recession. And it's just, we need a pullback, at least a cool down of the economy, because it's running too hot. So a lot of people now are feeling like, oh, maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should, I can catch up on some certain things. Maybe I can catch up on these other projects. No, 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 no. Now is the time to hustle, because a lot of people are going to take that break, and then they're going to wake up and be like, huh, this may not be a couple week thing. This may be a couple month thing. And if you look, people are saying it could last 18 months unless the Federal Reserve changes direction. And they're really hard pressed not to. Elon Musk even said this could go through 2024 to 2025. It's a long time. And so it is, I know it may feel like a good time to take a step back, take that vacation that you haven't taken because you've been so busy. It is probably the best time to start hustle and getting prepared and not letting off that throttle, because a lot of people will, and they're going to get just completely sideswiped when they come back and they realize that everybody else has been really hunkering down and preparing for this. So that's number three. Number two, and this is a really big one, because again, and I've seen so many business owners do this, a lot of real estate and things like that as well, is they think that what the income levels have been, what the sales levels have been, are going to be, are just normal. I mean, it's been going on for so long. Heck yeah, I can go ahead and do this investment. I can spend this money. I can do this thing because next month I know what my income is. I mean, it's been pretty solid for the last 5 years, and pretty steady. Uh, that is certainly going to change. There's really almost no guarantee, because this pullback is happening so fast. I am blown away by how fast it's happening in the markets, in the real estate markets, in the consumer markets, consumer spending behavior. Take a look at the Target report that just came out. Take a look at the Walmart report that came out. They're basically saying that consumers are buying less, spending more, and they're not spending money on things like their house anymore. They're not spending money on luxury items like patio furniture and things like that. They're focused on the necessities, because the consumer is starting to wake up and say, hey, there's a problem here. And so for business owners, and I know this is a hard one because most people don't do it. First of all, the rule of thumb is when you start a business, it always takes 5 times longer and probably 5 times more money to get it off the ground than anybody ever expects. And so that's, they always say 2 times, for planning, but it's always far harder and far more than that. When we're talking about this kind of financial situation and business conditions, you have to prepare for at least 2 months of operating expenses in your account, in your business account, or you'd be able to fund it personally. Um, Again, if this goes 18 months to 3 years, that's more than 2 months, obviously, but it's all not going to get wiped out, hopefully, in 2 months. But it's a good rule of thumb to be thinking and cut your budgets. I mean, a lot of people, maybe you don't do that investment project. Maybe you don't, self-invest into the company, this month or whatever it may be. But you probably should have at least 2 months of operating costs in the bank. Just because, not because you're going to have 2 months where you're not getting any income, just because this is going to be a slow eroding process, and you want to have that buffer. Their layoffs already starting. I mean, you can see Netflix laying off people. The federal government's like, hey, stop giving raises, which is going to stop the growth, stop the crazy inflation. You just really need to, take a good hard look at your overall budget and make sure you're profitable every month at this point, which is hard for some businesses, I know, because they're used to spending everything they make, but also have 2 months of operating capital in your bank. And if you don't already have that, you need to be thinking really hard, maybe sell some assets to do that, because you're going to need it. You're absolutely going to need it. So that is number two. And that is one of the biggest items I think people are not prepared for and looking for right now. And survivability of this whole thing is going to be required on you having enough capital in your bank, because if employees get a whiff that you can't pay your bills or your employees, they're gone. It's going to make things worse for you. So anyway, number two, and so this is going to be number one, which is absolutely the most important thing, and I think has really been missing in the overall business community. And a lot of people haven't learned this, which is customer service. We have had a condition the last couple of years, especially for trades and things that are short. So one customer, you get mad at a customer and they walk out the door, and guess what? And 3 seconds later, the next person's going to walk in the door. The best time to learn customer service is during good times, because a lot of people have memories of, oh, well, that person didn't show, or that person was a jerk, or that person didn't do a good job. And so it's hard to recover from that. They say the best time to plant a tree was yesterday or 10 years ago. The best time to start customer service would have been when you started your business. The next best time is right now and today. Even if you have customers still walking in your door and you feel like you don't have to cater to them, they're going to remember. And the ones that you treat the best and you do your job and you have good customer service, even in good times, they are going to remember you in bad times. And they will be loyal and they will stick around and they will do their best to contribute to your business. And so we have had this situation where these businesses and everything's been overheated. And again, when the next person's ready to walk in the door, you don't have to worry about it, because who cares if that one person's mad? Who cares about that one bad review? Well, it's going to make a difference when things slow down, because the number of people walking that door is going to really, really slow down. And so customer service is going to be king once again. A lot of these big companies have forgotten about it. A lot of these small companies have forgotten about it. This is going to be big. So again, the best thing you can do for your business right now, even if you haven't slowed down yet, because it's coming, is provide the absolute best customer service you can. And you could do that through software and things like that. And that's one of my recommendations that didn't make my list, but that's part of customer service, is get yourself some good software, contact management stuff. So it's sending people thank yous, it's sending people, birthday, wishes, all of that kind of stuff, reminding what they did for you and what jobs you were doing. People appreciate that. And it's not even like a physical requirement that you do all that. So find yourself some really good software to automate that kind of stuff, because the customer service piece of this is what's going to save businesses. I started this with saying there are so many unhealthy businesses. There's a lot of bankruptcies coming. There's a lot of businesses that are just not good businesses, and they're horrible, horrible operators. And when things are good, they get to skate by. And when things start to turn a little bit sour, they get cleansed out. This is just like nature. And that's going to happen in businesses. So sadly, I think we're going to see a lot of businesses, but the ones that make it through this are going to be amazing businesses that are poised to grow big time. One thing I want to add, I did see another note today that funding for startups and things like that, investors are really starting to dry up. So that means that bank loans and things like that will also dry up. So that's why I stressed about, was it number two, get your budget under control with the bank account things, is because it's going to be harder and harder to get loans and investor money. So anyway, hopefully those 5 things were super helpful for somebody. I want to see businesses succeed. Even if you've been a bad business for the last couple of years, you still have time right now to be a good business. If you wait 6 months, you may not have a chance. to fix it and become that big business, that good business, and be really poised for great growth coming out the other side. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for staring at me. And I didn't have any cool slides except for in the beginning, but I really, really appreciate it. Please leave some comments down below if you'd like to see different things, questions about it. I want to see you and your business make it out the other side. So thank you, and be safe out there and successful.